Hey ladies and gents, I have a video for you. Just not like the whole thing. It's painting a boat takes an obscene amount of time. What a waste of time. But it is so important. Like right now we are adding a GatorGlide super slick epoxy primer to the bottom of this boat. That's what this whole thing is about. And it's a long process. I mean, the shortest time span between putting the primer on and then putting the actual coat on is a 7 to 8 day process for everything to completely cure and dry in order to be prepped and applied. But it's really important because the one things that kayaks have is they're made out of HDPE hulls. It's high density plastic pretty much. And what that is self-lubricating. So it can slide up and down things very well. Aluminum, not so much. Aluminum's not self-lubricating. So what do? You put a really tough, robust epoxy on the bottom that is super slick. So it's like that. And that's what we're gonna do. That's what this video is about. And also if you wanna see how it's professionally done, check out my buddy up here, Chris Simmons at Senate Jonboats. And he has a full deal of how he did it, and it's actually a little bit better than mine, but I'm gonna get you the idea out. So check it out here, starting now. So here it is, a few days later. It's a giant dust magnet. Some of these rivets didn't seat right, and we now have to just checking them again. So it's just these two that were really terribly bad. Look, you can actually move this one. This one, same. They like came out. Well, those had to go out anyways. Let's see if we can do this without screwing up the paint job. Get up there. We finally got the right cuffs, the concave head that actually cuffs it. I actually tried to go and bevel in a concave head to the other fitting. That metal, I swear it's the hardest metal ever. No drill bit I had could go even like make a dent in it. So we're gonna let it charge up and we're just gonna buck these last few rivets. Right, hold it tight. Oh, it makes all the difference, the concave head. Here, get the next. Here, tighten all these. You just tighten that one. On it. Okay, the next one up. The next one up. Ready? 3, 2, 1. 2, 1. I put these poo noodles there. Hopefully, like my paint job didn't get busted up. If it did, oh well. Scoot that over that way. Something else fell out of there. That wasn't good. Nope, it looks completely intact. It was unscathed. I got a bunch of overspray on the top of the hull. And we gotta get that crap off. It's like all over the place, man. Got a lot of it off the other day, but there was just tons of overspray on the bottom of the hull. So the bottom of the hull has to be, I guess, exceptionally clean as well for what we are going to try and do, which is the GatorGlide today. And then we will be well on our way to actually finishing this giant mess of whatever it is I think I have going on here. So I'm gonna go watch my buddy Chris's video on how to apply this. But he has pretty much a full video on how to apply this. What we're using today is called GatorGlide Super Slick Marine Epoxy. This is the number 5 kit. These is the primer, and one of those is the resin. So the resin itself has its own primer, which is apparently really good primer that makes a really good base for the super slick resin. Now that I think about it, putting all that plastic is kind of a bit of overkill. We don't really need to do that. We just need a protective layer over the actual paint at hand.
so it doesn't get any epoxy on it.
Might put some GatorGlide on this boat later. I don't know. In this video, we're going to be putting Gator Base and GatorGlide on our 1648 Jonboat, Project Bottomland Bateau. I'm going to walk you step by step, so stick around, show you how to do it. Send it.
And so he said to make halfway mark, you got to kind of go in there and stir it, because this stuff is not mixed. Look, you see all the sediment or whatever parts of the chemical are all there on the bottom. So we got to definitely mix that before we can even pour it in here. Well, that's pretty cool. Let's just do that, because this is a little bit more easy to shake around and mix up. Alright, so now that we've mixed that clearly, which you need to mix both like very, very well before you even merge the A and B together. Why you want to do that, you want to re-prep the top of the hull by lightly sanding it, and then go ahead and cleaning the hull off and all the dust residual stuff with naphtha or acetone. We're going to be using naphtha with Crown Camp Fuel, and that cleans it off pretty well. As you are doing this though, you're going to get pretty dirty. You need to switch sides of your rag. You got like 8 sides total to the rag, so you can flip that thing back out and around all those times, and then you want to throw that rag away or wash it before you ever use it again. Otherwise you'll just be smearing contaminants all over your boat, and it's pretty much pointless. And sometimes you got to use a few rags. I was using the paper towels. They just didn't seem to do as good of a job as these little shop rags. And the microfiber rags really do the most fantastic job. You want to keep repeating this process until you wipe, and there's literally nothing else in the back. See right there? That just shows me I have a lot of work to do. So I'm going to keep on keeping on here and wiping until it's nice. Now we're going to add the rest of the base to the primer. This is the catalyst for it. So Chris told me to get a small bucket. So this is like, I don't know, they measured it in liters, I think, or quarts, so I couldn't catch gallons, but it's a little less than half the size of a 5-gallon bucket. And we also got a paint grid that fit inside the bucket. They make even smaller paint grids for even smaller buckets if you don't even want one this big. Like, honestly, look how much we actually stuck in there. This is a number 5 kit, but they do make much larger kits. But this is a number 5 kit, which is I think the smallest kit that GatorGlide makes. We also got these Microlon rollers. I will say they're much more durable than those white foam rollers. I think those would have almost immediately destroyed themselves with how thick this stuff is. We did get the occasional stuff in here. Chris also said to get some rollers from Home Depot and don't get them from Lowe's. And I absolutely got them from Lowe's. And he said that the ones at Home Depot are a little bit better quality. I don't really know how true that is, but it's not the biggest pain to stick those things out. It's just annoying. I start this. So first thing I screwed up was doing this in the sun. It was a big no-no. I thought because I wasn't spray painting it and I was rolling it that I could get away with it, but no. The paint started gelling up and thickening up. The hull was pretty hot just to the touch. And so the first coat didn't go too well. And so I ended up moving it to the side of my house with a little bit of shade I had there, and I started pulling it off there. But it was a real crap show for the first coat. So we're just going to go ahead and skip that and go on to the second coat. Beating the ever-living tar out of this bristle brush, which I gotta say is much more durable than the foam brushes. The foam brushes would have already ripped off and caused me problems. Okay. Some spots look like terrible dog shit because I left it for too long in the sun and it's unrecoverable. Some spots didn't turn out that bad. Okay, I only used half the primer and I'm gonna go mix the other half because I really only got like 2.5 coats on this. So I mean, the exact amount of primer that I have is gonna be about good for 5 coats. Yeah, this is what I should have done. It looks so much better. I wish I had like a rewind button. I just need like an hour rewind button. I would have been all right. Would have moved this thing in the shade. Would have rolled it like this. Last go at it. Let's see if what I think is a better refined process for applying this goop. I mean, it was sitting in my garage for over 2 years when I bought it. I mean, I literally bought it and then didn't do anything. And I bought it specifically for this boat. So at that point in time, with everything going on and the size of my channel and the obligations I pledged myself to, I wasn't sure if I was ever gonna get to it. So I really don't know what happened to this stuff. But it is not going on like in Chris's video and is all pro and thin looking like it's a 50-50 mix. Like, it's not doing it.
Check it out.
Okay, so that's good. Some parts came out better than others. On the parts where I kind of caught on what to do before I screwed it up over here, like, it does look substantially better. I will have to, I gave it as many coats as I possibly can. I think I gave it maybe 6. There's some stupid threads that came out in it. And whatever, I'll take those out. But other than that, you know, it really did come out. It looks all right for primer. I'll just vigorously sand that stuff. We're not supposed to touch this for 3 whole days. 3 whole days, ladies and gentlemen. 3 days. That's fine. I can wait 3 days. And I'll make sure that the spots that are really good just get scuffed. Like over here, it came out pretty good. And then spots like right here where it came out terrible, we sand the terrible parts down so it at least kind of looks like this. Try to get as much epoxy around these rivets to give them one final seal, which I think did work. And then I especially will try and do that again with the GatorGlide. All right, so here's the finished product. It's all right. It's actually very slick by itself. Like, it is very slick, just the primer by itself. It's very cool. Very nice. I mean, something makes me wonder if it's actually the paint label is the primer, but the primer is legit. It's been cured for about 4 or 5 days, actually. I kind of got tired of waiting. I started on my 1648 in my backyard, and that series is out to patrons and YouTube channel members only. But right now it started, and we're going pretty hard at that. I got like super motivation for the spring in terms of getting projects done. I'm trying to get 4 boats done in 4 months. I mean, that's probably almost impossible, but it's good to have ambition, right? But this is very slick. It's very, very strangely slick. Like, it worries me how slick it is. Like, it makes me wonder if I put on the glide and not the. Yeah. It says Gator base, but the Gator base itself is, that stuff's really slick. I mean, so this is the actual GatorGlide G2. That's gonna go on next, and that's just gonna be that's gonna be awesome. I mean, if the primer's that slick, I can't wait to see what the actual base is. That's probably just, it probably just rolls off stuff. I bought this stuff. It was expensive, but it was worth it. I held on to it for years, but it was worth it. So now what I'm gonna do is, next video, we're gonna actually apply the base on and give you a full detailed analysis of how that slips in and out of a truck.